We're going to talk about hidden draft gems, and we'll name about 2 or 3 because I think, we're not going to name a boatload of players. And Riv, you are the draft guru on this panel because I know you watch a lot of college basketball. So I'm curious to hear your hidden draft gems.
Well, obviously, number one, you're not going to like this.
It's probably Sharife Cooper.
Yeah, number one, I think it's Sharife Cooper. I think with his combination of playmaking and finishing at the basket and his speed, I think this is a guy that you really can't miss on. And I think another guy is obviously Trey Mann. I think people with these lottery guys, I think people are very high on the first 5 guys being named, and they're not really talking about the guys who can be in the lottery late in the lottery or could drop out a lot. I think Trey Mann and Sharife Cooper are 2 guys that come to my mind because I watched them a lot this year. Trey Mann specifically, I think his combination of playmaking and shot creation, I think it's incredible. And his size is built for the NBA. So, I think him coming in the right spot, like in my draft, I got him going to New York. That's where I got him picked at, and I think that would be great. You guys need a point guard. You need some scoring because, God, you guys are horrible on offense. But I think, his game just fits that swaggy NBA coming in, and I think he'll be fit for the NBA game. But those are my 2 guys. I don't think there's, anybody late that I would say would be probably a gem. I know who you're going to name, and I can't wait to hear who you're going to name because it's crazy. But those would be my 2 guys right now.
I got 2 guys that I thought of. So the first guy is Aaron Henry from Michigan State.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's like a late second-round pick in the mocks that I've seen, and I just think he's got a really good NBA body. He's 6'6", 6'10" wingspan. He's great defensively. I remember watching early in the season when they played Illinois, he locked up Ayo Dosunmu, who was one of the most explosive guards in all of college basketball this year. And he wasn't that efficient this year, but he also took on a big load of the offense. I think for his value late in the second round, I think he's got a much higher ceiling than where he's going to be picked at. So I think he's a guy to look at late. And another guy that I was thinking is Jason Preston from Ohio. We saw him in the tournament, what he could do, and his story all year long. I believe it was also a game against Illinois earlier in the season that he went out and scored 31, and they upset who was then, I believe, undefeated and the best team in the country.
If not defeated, they were definitely one of the best in the country.
So, he showed that he could do it against better competition. So I understand he was playing at Ohio, not a very highly regarded school in college basketball circles, but he was balling out against really good schools. He can score the basketball, and I think there's just something about that scoring gene that you can't teach in certain guys, and I think you get him in an NBA program, he could be a guy that can really develop well.
I love your 2 picks, and I love one of yours, not the other one, Sharife. On my hidden draft gems, I had Terrence Mann, so I won't go too in-depth in that. To me...
Did you just call him Terrence Mann?
Oh, Trey Mann. I apologize. But to me, Trey Mann reminds me a lot of Spencer Dinwiddie. And I have made this comparison. Riv disagrees with me. But when I watch Spencer and I watch Trey Mann play, I see a lot of similarities in how they play the game. Aaron Henry was on my list as well because I think Aaron Henry, he reminds me of 2 players. He reminds me of one mostly. That's Justice Winslow. He reminds me reminds me a lot of Justice Winslow. And I think Winslow, if he wasn't that high of a pick, we wouldn't be thinking of him how we think of him now. And Aaron Henry, if he can have a similar impact and just be a great role player, I think he can do that. And the other comparison was like a Tobias Harris light because Tobias Harris was really raw coming out of college. But I like Aaron Henry a lot. I think he's going to be a steal.
I like his grit, and I think he could play like you look at the NBA now. I think he could play a really good maybe small ball 4 where he's going to defend a couple different positions, can handle the ball in the offense, and not be a liability at the big man spot.
Yep, I agree. So now to kind of give a little bit of a difference, I actually had 4 players, but you guys mentioned 2, so I only have 2 players that I'm going to mention, but 3 because he just came to my mind. The first one is Quentin Grimes. I think Quentin Grimes, a highly touted prospect, transferred from Kansas, at Houston, averaged 17 points per game, close to 18, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 40% from the field and from 3. I think Quentin Grimes is NBA ready right now and can contribute. And the other one is Sandro Mamukelashvili. I think Sandro. Yeah, and I think, look, I'm not being a homer. I think Sandro has a unique skill set. And at Seton Hall, he shot 34% from the 3 this past season, but that doesn't reflect how good of a shooter he is because he was getting doubled. He took on a big load. But I think Sandro playing a small ball 5, a point forward type role, he can really thrive. It's really about defense for him. And the third player I'm going to mention is Herb Jones. I think Herb Jones, I know whatever team drafts him is getting an elite on-ball defender. It's just about his offensive game. If he can develop his offense, he can be really good. But defensively, he is there. And I'll throw another one out there, Cameron Thomas. I like Cameron Thomas's game.
I thought you were going to name Josh Primo. I don't know why, but I thought that was somebody who you were going to name.
I haven't mentioned Josh Primo to you at all.
I just felt like you were going to steer towards Josh Primo because he's been getting talked about a lot lately.
Wait, so what? That was the player you thought I was going to name in the beginning of the segment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I thought you thought I was going to name Aaron Henry.
No, I knew you were going to name Aaron, but you picked him in your mock. You had him in the first round, so I didn't think he was a hidden gem.
You think he's going to go in the first round?
No, that's where he picked him.
I picked him with the 21st pick.
Yeah, so that's what
Knicks.
That was way too high. He's going to be there in the second round.
He's going to be there at pick 32.
It's going to be a steal if a team could get him in the second round, I think.
It's funny with Quentin Grimes, because, you bringing it back full circle, him walking into Kansas, his first game or two, he was a top 10 pick, walking in. Very early mock draft, he was projected to be a top 10 pick, and then everything just sailed downhill from that point, and he had to make the transfer and make the adjustment. He's still a pretty young guy. He's not old, and I think you are right. He is definitely NBA ready right now.
And I like that he went through that experience because there's so many cautionary tales in college basketball of guys who were high recruits, go to a big school, transfer out, and then you never hear their names again. Transferring from a place like Kansas to Houston, to take them to where they went to, I think it shows that he can handle that adversity that you're going to have to deal with at the NBA level. And also at Houston, they played almost an NBA-type style up and down the way teams in the league run it now.
Another person who did that was Javon, too.
Yeah, so he's ready to step in and take that pace.
Yeah, not only that, but they made the tournament.
Yep.
They made some noise as well.
They were tough. Houston was a very tough team.
They were better than Kansas this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
exactly. So
they had a deep run in the tournament, and they won some gritty games.
They played, I think they was like, every position was 6'5" and up. They just played a bunch of wings. They didn't have a real big, just like 5 wings out there.
The Knicks worked them out.
For real?
Yeah.
I second like round? That. He fits.
No, first round. First round. Yeah.
So you might be first.
The Knicks worked out. I believe they didn't work out Sharif Cooper, which is why I don't think he's going to get drafted there. They worked out Chris Duarte, Cam Thomas, Trey Murphy.
They didn't work out Trey Mann?
I'm not sure. I think they did. They brought him in for one workout, and also Quentin Grimes. They brought him in for a workout. They probably brought in a few more. Isaiah Jackson too.
At 19, if Trey Mann is there and you guys go somewhere else, I don't know what to I don't know what to tell you.
If these two players are there, we're gonna go Chris Duarte, Trey Murphy combination
over Trey Mann. You're picking Chris Duarte.
I really believe the Knicks are not going Trey Mann. My money is on these players. It's going to be, these are the players the Knicks are thinking about. Okay. Trey Murphy, Chris Duarte, Jaden Springer, Jared Butler, and Quentin Grimes, and Isaiah Jackson.
So Jaden Springer before Trey Mann.
Tom Thibodeau style. That's who Jaden Springer
is a Tom Thibodeau guy. Okay, because Tennessee plays Tom Thibodeau way.
That's one thing about Tom Thibodeau is like he will pick guys that fit his system over talent.
Yeah. But
I think we saw that this year with the way they built their roster out. It wasn't the most talented team in the league, and there were certainly more talented teams that slotted behind them in the playoff race. But if he gets his guys in his system and gets them playing the way that he wants them to, they'll be successful.
Springer is only 18 years old, so
a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, like an extreme amount of room. It's just like
I don't want him. I don't.
It's not about you.
I just wonder, like,
I don't.
I wonder what the Knicks' timeline is going to be now because you hear them in conversations with Dame, and I hope that they don't. I understand you can't get a guy like Damian Lillard every day, but I hope that they don't jump the ship and get too far ahead of themselves, making a trade for a superstar and get rid of everything they've built.
They're thinking about Keon Johnson too.
I don't think he'll be there, but that would be really good.
He could.
He could.
He could.
That's what I said.
If we trade up, if we trade up, we could get him now.
That's why
this
I said
draft
I
is
don't.
Crazy.
I don't think
this draft is great.
I think last year's draft was kind of predictable, at least through like the top 10.
No. 4 was not predictable. 4 was horrible. In hindsight, it looks great, but 4 was probably
Wait, Edwards, LaMelo, Wiseman.
Patrick Williams.
Patrick Williams.
Oh, well, he's the one that messed it up,
Yeah.
but the top 3 was
But then
predicted.
The top 3 was
I mean, I
predicted,
think the rest of the top 10 went pretty much as we thought it would.
4 was just like
except for Halliburton.
This
And
year,
Isaac Okoro, too.
beyond
Yes.
I think Cade is a lock at 1. Beyond that, I really have no idea where it's gonna go.
2, 3, 4, 5 could be a mystery.
I think 1 and 2 are locks in Cade and Green.
Jalen Green.
Yeah.
But I could easily see like Kuminga or Evan Mobley.
Well,
Being
Houston
3.
isn't high on Mobley,
Yeah.
but they're very aggressive in trying to get Cade. So it's
They stopped, though.
Well, I don't think the Pistons are trading the pick because
think it's all smoke
I
screen.
saw OKC supposedly offering Shea in the 6th pick.
that is the dumbest thing ever.
Troy Weaver came out today and said that it was a false rumor. I know that because I literally made a whole video about it. I posted it on YouTube, and then the comment section told me this shit was false.
I mean, it depends on who you trust there, but
Yeah.
if you're a GM and you have an offer denied,
I mean,
why
SGA
not
and the
step
6
to the
pitch for
plate?
Cade. I love Cade. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't do that.
if they offer that and the Pistons didn't accept that, I don't think they're going to accept any offer because you're not going to get a better NBA player for that pick than Shea
agree.
right now.
Yeah, that's true. And I hope that Troy Weaver was lying about it because
If you said no,
it is a bad look because if you openly admit that you didn't accept a trade, now people are going to look at you bad if K doesn't pan out.
Exactly.
So it could go either way. Hopefully it was true so my video doesn't age poorly because I literally made an entire video talking about that trade.